The combination of a creature endowed with a sense of curiosity about its environment and the best tool available in nature for exploring it seems to be a remarkable coincidence. The unique biological feature of an opposable thumb has enabled humanity to build machines to explore the smallest realms of the quantum and the immense edges of an expanding and accelerating universe. From colliders to satellites and every scientific invention in between, this anatomical linchpin has allowed humankind to go as far as its sense of wonder could take it. While it gave the means to explore nature, did it also give rise to the motive? Did it provide the how and the why? If an opposable thumb was not instrumental to the high level of consciousness found in human beings, then we must be satisfied with the coincidence, or be open to the ideas of purpose, design, and teleology in the universe. Did our ancestors, with their gripping, grasping hands, randomly rub two sticks together and hit upon the discovery of fire? Raw meat being tough to eat, fire provided for the cooking and therefore the greater consumption of proteins. The greater intake of protein enlarged the size of our brains, with a special section dedicated to the workings of our thumbs. This large brain relative to our body size resulted in the mastery of tools and our environment, cultivating an emerging higher consciousness in humans. But what if the idea of friction causing heat, causing fire, came first? Seeing that friction produced heat, did humans realize that more friction could produce the hottest thing they knew, fire? Did they, after consuming the remains of an animal that died in a natural fire, make the connection that cooked meat was tastier and easier to eat? The understanding of cause and effect would indicate a higher intelligence and possibly a higher form of consciousness that preceded the utilization of fire. The cave images of handprints on stones by our ancestors show they knew what set them apart from the animals. No images of feet used for mobility or appendages used for reproduction. Any animal could get around in both senses better than humans. But watching their animal brethren try with their beaks, teeth, and talons to get what they wanted with limited results surely induced a sense of pride in humanity. Pride in their hands with that wonderful thumb. Consciousness, of course, is not solely a human trait. Examples can be found throughout the animal kingdom. But lacking a dexterous tool-using set of hands seems to have made all the difference to the degree of consciousness. A chimpanzee can recognize its own face in a mirror, but cannot sculpt a statue in its own image. A peahen may share our aesthetic sense, but she will never immortalize in oils her beloved peacock. He'll have to settle for the sex. Darwin's sea turtles of the Galapagos Islands might have consciousness in some form unknown to us, but can do little with it except sit like the Buddha and contemplate the mysteries of the universe. And Darwin's famous finches maybe build a better nest. Theory attributes the primeval journey of living organisms from sea dwellers to land animals as the possible first inklings of consciousness. Freed from the murky depths of the ocean where organisms could only see a few feet in front of them, greater distances on land could now be perceived through the less opaque air. The subsequent development of stereoscopic vision gave an organism the ability to see greater distances and, more importantly, the time to deliberate whether the far-off object was predator or prey. This second guessing, or decision-making, whether to fight, flee, or chase, liberated an organism from a purely instinctive, autonomic response. And while many living organisms have stereoscopic vision, it has produced only a basic consciousness in the greater part of them. The ability to construct Galileo's rudimentary telescope for observing the moons of Jupiter was never a possibility. Was the opposable thumb key to another human distinction, the development of complex languages? A theory, which evolutionary biologists could take or leave, posits that it was our ability to walk upright that resulted in the separation of our breathing and eating passageways. This allowed for a flexible variety of sounds to emanate from our mouths. It also allowed for that other unique human attribute, choking while eating. It is likely we first talked with our hands in a primitive sign language, spoken language developing along hand gestures and a positive feedback loop with greater hand dexterity producing a greater variety of words and representations. But did the animal kingdom and its inability to walk upright and lack of an opposable thumb forever deny it the privilege of complex communication? A complex animal language based on hand gestures is not an impossibility, but it has never been found. Attempts by humans to teach signing to the most promising animal candidates have also failed. Even an animal who naturally developed beyond chirps, grunts, and chest poundings with a language as complex as our own could still not talk their way into constructing a particle collider or an orbiting telescope. It is possible that neither an upright posture nor an opposable thumb is responsible for human language. Like our ability to distinguish cause and effect, language could be something innate and hardwired into our brains, long before we utter our first words as children or as a species.